Chosen one, what I'm about to share may surprise you, even shock you. If you're watching this video right now, it's not by coincidence. God has led you here because something powerful is unfolding in your life. You may feel like you're at a point where you cannot conceive, where the things you desire or need seem out of reach. But I am here to tell you, trust God. His plans for you are greater than you can imagine. And even when things feel impossible, His timing and His will are always at work. You are on the verge of a miraculous breakthrough. And though it may not make sense right now, everything is aligning for you. This is not just a message of hope. It is a divine reminder that you are not walking this path alone. Before we dive into this life-changing revelation, take a moment to pause this video and do 3 things. Hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 1,000 subscribers, and leave a comment with the number 99. This number will send a powerful signal to the universe, amplifying the energy of this video. And remember, if you are truly a chosen one, you'll watch this video until the end. Because deep down, your spirit already knows that this message is for you. If you're not ready to receive this truth, you might not make it to the end. But for those who do, your life will never be the same. Now let's get into it. Chosen one, you cannot conceive, but trust God. You are not here by accident. You are a chosen vessel, selected for a purpose far grander than your current circumstances may suggest. God, in His infinite wisdom, has handpicked you to walk a path that may challenge, uplift, and transform both you and the world around you. The purpose He has placed within you is woven into the fabric of your soul, and though you may not yet see its full scope, know this: it is greater than you can imagine. The life you are living now is not the final chapter. Each day is a stepping stone, leading you closer to the magnificent purpose you were designed to fulfill. Think of the greatest visionaries in history, people who were misunderstood, challenged, or even rejected. Yet their purpose transcended their understanding of it. And they changed the course of history. You too have a purpose that can impact lives, elevate others, and make a difference beyond measure. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, and you will question your worthiness. But know that your divine calling is anchored deep within you, and nothing can take it away. You may not always see the bigger picture, but trust that God has placed you on this earth for something extraordinary, something only you can fulfill. In a world that often demands immediate answers, we are conditioned to believe that we must understand everything. We seek clarity, we crave certainty, and we desire control. Yet God's wisdom is not something we can always comprehend with our finite minds. His understanding of the universe, of our lives, and of the intricate details that make up our journey is far beyond what we could ever grasp. But it is precisely this divine wisdom that will guide you through every storm and stillness in your life. Just as a child may not understand the reasons behind a parent's decisions, we too may not fully comprehend God's reasons for our trials and triumphs. But we must learn to trust that His wisdom is perfect. Even when life seems unpredictable, even when the path is unclear, His plan is unfolding with love and precision. Everything you are experiencing is part of a bigger picture that only God can see in its fullness. There are countless examples throughout history of individuals who trusted God's wisdom even when they couldn't make sense of their circumstances. Joseph, sold into slavery by his brothers, later rose to become a leader in Egypt, saving nations from famine. His journey was filled with pain and confusion, yet it was God's wisdom at work, shaping him into the person he needed to become. The same is true for you. God's wisdom is at work, even when you don't see it. Faith is the unwavering belief in what is unseen, what is yet to come. It is a decision to step forward, even when the ground beneath you feels uncertain. The essence of faith is trusting that God is holding you, even when life feels like a storm. You are asked to believe, not in the clarity of the path, but in the certainty of the one who walks beside you. Faith doesn't demand that everything makes sense right now. In fact, it's often in the moments of greatest uncertainty that our faith is tested the most. But what if, instead of fearing uncertainty, you embraced it? What if you trusted that God's timing, even in its mysteriousness, was perfect? What if the very uncertainty you are facing is part of a divine process that is shaping you, molding you into the person you are meant to become? Consider the moments in your life when you felt the most lost or uncertain. Looking back, have you not found that those were the moments where the greatest growth occurred? It was in the unknown that you discovered strength, resilience, and the power of trusting in God's plan. Faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting that God will reveal them when the time is right. As a chosen one, your journey will not always be easy. There will be detours, obstacles, and even moments of deep despair. But through it all, there is one constant: God's plan. Your journey is divinely orchestrated, and each step you take brings you closer to your purpose. You are being guided with love, even in the darkest of times. The journey you are on is one of transformation. God's plan is not just about where you end up, but about who you become along the way. It's about growing in faith, resilience, and trust. It's about facing adversity and emerging stronger, more compassionate, and more aligned with your true purpose. Every challenge is an opportunity to deepen your connection with the divine, to learn to lean on Him more fully, and to trust that His plan for you is greater than any momentary struggle. Remember, the road less traveled is often the one that leads to the greatest rewards. Your unique journey, though it may seem unconventional at times, is exactly the one you need to walk. Trust in God's plan, even when it doesn't make sense, and know that each step brings you closer to the destiny He has prepared for you. Patience is a difficult virtue to master, especially when it comes to trusting God's timing. We live in a world that thrives on instant gratification, where we are conditioned to expect quick results and immediate answers. But God's timing operates on a different plane, one that is perfect, precise, and full of purpose. There may be times when you feel like you've been waiting forever, when your prayers seem unanswered, and your dreams feel out of reach. But take heart. God's timing is always perfect. He sees what you cannot see. He knows what you need, even before you ask for it. And in His perfect timing, everything will fall into place. Think about the seasons of nature. The seeds that are planted in the soil do not bear fruit immediately. They must go through a process of growth, nurturing, and waiting. In the same way, your purpose is unfolding in its perfect season. Trust that God is preparing you for something extraordinary. And His timing will make it happen when you are truly ready. Doubt and fear are natural human emotions, but they do not have to define you. As you walk in faith, you may encounter moments where fear tries to creep in. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. But these fears are merely distractions meant to keep you from stepping into the fullness of your divine purpose. Faith, however, has the power to cast out fear. When you trust in God's plan, you begin to see that fear has no hold over you. It becomes just another shadow in the light of His love. Each time fear surfaces, replace it with a declaration of faith. Remind yourself of God's promises, of His unwavering love, and of the strength He has placed within you. You are not alone in this journey. Look at the great leaders and figures in history. Many of them faced incredible fears and doubts, yet they chose to act in faith. Nelson Mandela, despite years of imprisonment, never gave up on his vision for a free South Africa. He overcame fear with unwavering belief in his purpose. You too have the power to conquer your fears and step boldly into the life God has planned for you. There will be times when the challenges before you seem insurmountable, when the weight of your trials is so heavy that you feel you cannot bear it. In these moments, it's important to remember that God is with you. He does not promise a life free of hardship, but He promises to be your strength through it all. In the face of the impossible, trust that God is working behind the scenes, turning your struggles into opportunities for growth. What feels like a mountain to you is a stepping stone to the greatness that lies ahead. Every obstacle is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for the purpose you are destined to fulfill. Remember the story of David and Goliath. David, a young shepherd, faced a giant who seemed unbeatable, but with faith in God, he overcame the impossible. If God could empower David to defeat a giant, imagine what He can do through you in the face of your challenges. Trust that your victory is already written in the divine plan. One of the hardest things we face as humans is the need to control every aspect of our lives. We plan, we strategize, and we strive to ensure everything aligns with our expectations. However, true peace and fulfillment come when we surrender the illusion of control and place our trust fully in God's hands. Surrendering to God means acknowledging that His plan is far greater than any plan we could have devised on our own. When we hold on tightly to control, we often find ourselves frustrated, anxious, and overwhelmed. But when we release that grip, we open ourselves up to the possibility of miracles. God's plan unfolds effortlessly when we stop trying to make it happen on our own. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It's trusting that God knows what's best for us even when we can't see the outcome. Think of a sailboat on the water. The boat moves with the wind, not against it. Similarly, when we surrender to God's timing and direction, we glide through life with ease, even when the seas are rough. This doesn't mean there won't be storms, but trusting that God will guide us through them makes the journey less daunting. Surrendering is an act of faith that allows God's grace to work wonders in our lives. Obedience is often seen as a difficult or even restrictive act, yet in God's will there is ultimate freedom. When you align your life with His direction, you are walking the path that is designed for your highest good. Obedience to God's will may sometimes seem counterintuitive, but it is always leading you toward a place of peace, fulfillment, and true joy. True strength is not found in resisting God's plans or pushing against His guidance. It is found in yielding, in trusting that His way is the best way, even when it doesn't make sense in the moment. Think about the strength of someone who follows their calling despite facing opposition or hardship. Their obedience is not weakness, but rather a reflection of their deep trust in God. Consider the life of Abraham, who was called to leave everything he knew and journey to an unknown land. Abraham's obedience to God's command was not just an act of faith, but also an act of strength. His willingness to trust God's plan set the foundation for a legacy of blessing. In the same way, your obedience to God's will, even in the hardest of times, will lead to blessings beyond measure. In a world filled with uncertainty and change, God's love remains a constant, unwavering source of hope. His love never falters, never fades, and never gives up on you, even when you feel unworthy. It is an unconditional love that calls you to rise above your circumstances. To trust that you are enough, just as you are. When everything else seems uncertain, God's love is the one thing you can rely on. His love is not based on your actions or your achievements. It's a love that is freely given, a love that sees beyond your flaws, and a love that calls you to embrace your true divine purpose. It is in this love that you find the courage to trust Him, to step into your calling, and to persevere when things seem impossible. Think about the parent-child relationship. No matter what a child does, the parent's love remains steadfast and unwavering. In the same way, God's love for you is constant, regardless of your past mistakes or present struggles. It is His love that empowers you to trust in His plan, to keep moving forward, and to find peace in knowing that you are never alone. We often get caught up in the small details of life, focusing on what we can see and understand in the present moment. But God's plan for you is much bigger than what you can imagine. It's not confined to the here and now. It stretches across eternity, weaving together your story with countless others. What may seem like a setback today could be a crucial part of a greater purpose that you will only fully understand later. The challenges you face are not random. They are divinely designed to shape you and position you for what's ahead. Every triumph and trial is part of the bigger picture. As you look back on your life, you will see how God's hand has been guiding you all along, even when you didn't realize it. Each step, each decision, each moment of struggle is leading you to the place where you will fulfill your ultimate purpose. Imagine an artist creating a masterpiece. From up close, it may look like a collection of random strokes, but when viewed from a distance, the beauty of the entire painting becomes clear. Your life is much the same. Trust that God's plan is unfolding beautifully, even when you can't yet see the full picture. When you trust in God's plan for your life, you live with a newfound sense of confidence. It's not a confidence rooted in your own abilities, but in the certainty that the Creator of the universe is guiding your every step. This confidence is not boastful or arrogant, but humble and sure. It is the confidence of knowing that you are aligned with the divine purpose for your life, and that God is directing your steps with love and wisdom. Living confidently in God's guidance means moving forward with faith, even when things aren't perfect. It means stepping into opportunities with the knowledge that He has equipped you for what lies ahead. It is the assurance that when you lean into Him, you will never fall short. Every obstacle is just another opportunity to demonstrate the power of trusting in His guidance. Think about the courage it took for people like Esther to step into unknown circumstances with confidence. She trusted in God's guidance to speak up for her people, and her bravery changed the course of history. You, too, can live with confidence, knowing that God is with you, empowering you to make the decisions that will lead to your purpose. There is a reward that comes with faithful obedience to God's will. It's not always immediate, and it may not always look the way we expect, but God promises that those who trust Him and obey His commands will be blessed. These blessings are not just material. They are spiritual, emotional, and eternal. The peace that comes from knowing you are walking in alignment with God's plan is a reward in and of itself. When you obey God's will, you are not only fulfilling your purpose, but also setting the stage for blessings that can overflow into the lives of others. Your obedience becomes a testimony to those around you, a witness of God's faithfulness and goodness. And in turn, you inspire others to trust Him as well. Consider the story of Ruth. Her loyalty and obedience to her mother-in-law, Naomi, even in the face of great personal loss, led her to a future beyond her wildest dreams. She became the great-grandmother of King David, and ultimately, part of the lineage of Jesus Christ. Your faithful obedience, too, can lead to rewards beyond what you can imagine. The journey of life is not always easy. It is filled with ups and downs, twists and turns, moments of joy, and times of hardship. But through it all, you are not walking alone. Trust that God is with you, guiding you, and strengthening you every step of the way. Embrace the journey not as a destination to be reached, but as a process of becoming all that God has created you to be. As you move forward, remember that every moment, whether good or bad, is part of your divine path. Your purpose is unfolding, and every experience is shaping you into the person who will fulfill it. Don't rush the process or try to skip ahead. Trust that each season of your life is necessary for your growth and for the fulfillment of your purpose. Just as a sculptor chips away at the stone to reveal a masterpiece, God is shaping you, refining you, and making you into the person you were always meant to be. Trust in His process. Trust in His love. And above all, trust that you are exactly where you need to be, walking in the divine path He has set for you. Life's storms come in many forms: challenges in relationships, setbacks in careers, health battles, and moments of doubt. During these turbulent times, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed, like we are losing control. Yet, the strength to endure these storms comes from an unshakable faith in God. Trusting in His plan is not about having all the answers, but knowing that He is in control, even when we can't see the way forward. Faith in God during adversity allows us to hold steady when the winds of life blow the hardest. It means choosing to believe that His promises are true, even when everything around us seems to contradict them. For instance, in the book of Isaiah, we are reminded that God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in times of trouble. This is the foundation of our faith, to believe that God will never leave us nor forsake us. Think of the story of Job, who faced unimaginable suffering, yet refused to turn away from God. His faith was tested, but it was through that testing that his trust in God grew stronger. When we hold on to our faith in God through life's difficulties, it is refined and strengthened, just as gold is purified in fire. We may not understand why things happen, but we can trust that God is using every trial to shape us for something greater. So, as you face your own storms, remember that your faith is not a sign of ignorance or weakness, but of unwavering trust in the One who holds the universe in His hands. Trust in Him fully, and you will find peace amid the chaos. In a world that moves quickly, it can be difficult to wait, especially when it feels like God is silent or distant. We live in an age of instant gratification where answers are just a click away, yet God's timing operates on a completely different plane. He is never early or late. He is always right on time. The waiting period often brings frustration, but it is in the waiting that God refines us. We can think of a seed that is planted in the ground. It takes time for it to sprout and grow, but the delay does not mean the seed is inactive. It is growing in ways unseen. In the same way, during times of waiting, God is working behind the scenes, preparing you for what's to come. One powerful example of waiting in the Bible is the story of Abraham and Sarah. They were promised a child, but for years they waited, and the promise seemed impossible. Yet, in God's perfect timing, Isaac was born. The waiting period was not wasted. It was a part of God's master plan to shape them, strengthen their faith, and bring about a miracle. When God's timing is involved, we can be sure that the outcome will exceed our expectations. So, when you feel that frustration of waiting, remember that it's in the process that God prepares you for something greater. Trust in His perfect timing, knowing that He is orchestrating everything for your good and His glory. Prayer is one of the most powerful tools in our spiritual arsenal, yet many often overlook its transformative power. Prayer is not merely a way to ask God for things, but an opportunity to develop a deep, intimate relationship with Him. Through prayer, we express our gratitude, confess our sins, seek guidance, and simply enjoy the presence of God. In every season of life, prayer is essential. When things are going well, prayer is a way to offer thanks and to stay humble, recognizing that everything we have is a gift from God. During difficult times, prayer becomes our refuge, a place where we can pour out our hearts, share our fears, and receive comfort. It is through prayer that we align our hearts with God's will, allowing us to hear His voice clearly. Consider the prayer life of Jesus. He often withdrew to pray alone, even during times of busyness and need. He knew that spending time with His Father was crucial to staying connected to His purpose. Just as Jesus prioritized prayer, we too must make it a consistent part of our daily lives. It is through prayer that we can access God's wisdom, peace, and strength for whatever lies ahead. Remember that prayer is not just about asking for help, but about listening to God. It's in the quiet moments of prayer that He speaks to us, guiding us through life's challenges. Make prayer a constant habit and watch how it transforms your life. Stepping into the unknown is one of the most daunting experiences we can face. Whether it's a new job, a move to a new city, or embarking on a new phase of life, the fear of the unknown can paralyze us. But courage does not come from knowing every detail of the future. True courage comes from trusting that God is already there, ahead of you, preparing the way. When God calls us to step into unfamiliar territory, He does not leave us to face it alone. Think of the Israelites standing at the edge of the Red Sea. They could not see a way forward, but they trusted in God's command to move forward, and He parted the sea before them. Courageous faith is about obeying God's call, even when the path is unclear, knowing that He will make a way where there seems to be none. We all face moments in life where we must step out of our comfort zones. The key is not to rely on our own strength or understanding, but to lean on God's promise that He will never leave us nor forsake us. When we trust Him enough to take that first step into the unknown, we are met with His provision, guidance, and peace. So the next time you face an uncertain future, remember that God is already waiting for you there. Your courageous faith is the key that unlocks the doors to new opportunities, growth, and blessings. One of the greatest fears we face as humans is the fear of not having enough, whether it's enough money, enough time, or enough resources. But the Bible assures us that God is our provider. He knows what we need before we even ask, and He is always faithful to meet our needs in His way and His timing. God's provision is not just limited to material things. While He certainly provides for our physical needs, He also provides for our emotional, spiritual, and relational needs. He fills the empty places in our hearts with His love, His peace, and His guidance. Think about how God provided manna for the Israelites.